Welcome to Just the Facts with Sheriff Al Nienhuis. As I said before, this is our second episode. We certainly appreciate you tuning in. I'm not big on long introductions, so we'll go right into it. My guest today is Corporal Miller with the Hernando County Sheriff's K-9 unit. Welcome.
Thank you.
How long have you been with the Sheriff's Office?
Since 2003.
2003. And you and I were talking most of that time you've been in the K-9 unit,
For 20
right?
years of it. 2005 I got in K-9.
2000. So you only spent a couple years in patrol and went
Yes, sir.
right into K-9 unit. And during that time, you've had obviously more than one dog. You've had
Yes. I'm on my third right
on
now.
your third dog. Okay. You know, in law enforcement, we often, outside of the public eye, talk a lot about some really funny stories, and sometimes we tell the public about them. And the K-9 unit probably has more than their fair shares of some of the unusual bites they get and so forth. But there's one in particular that is my favorite by far, and I think anybody who hears it, it's their favorite. And I think it was K-9 Justice, and it was a few years ago. Take us back. It was December of, you said 2015.
15. Yes.
Okay, so it's been almost 10 years ago now. Tell us what you were doing. It was the middle of the night, as I recall, and where were you and what were you doing, and then kind of what transpired?
All right. It was late on a nighttime. I was probably a month or so out of school with Justice, so fresh, brand new dog. I pulled into a parking lot that was monitoring some traffic by Northcliffe and Mariner area, across from the Suncoast Schools Credit Union.
Right.
And I noticed a pickup truck pull into the parking lot, and a gentleman walked up to the ATM. So I just kind of, looking back and forth, him and traffic and whatnot, and I noticed three guys walking up towards the ATM from a neighboring business. Kind of caught my eye, so I was kind of watching and seeing what was going on. And as he walked away from the ATM, those three gentlemen approached him. So I was just kind of watching and seeing. They stood there and talked for a second, and before I knew it, they started beating him up and kicking and punching. And I'm like, oh my God, this is going down. So,
Well, this is a case where people say there's never a cop around
Yes.
when you need one. This is a case
it's a
where
one in a
we were
million
in
shot here. I
you
was
were in the
actually
right place.
watching it. Yes,
the right
so-
place at the right time. Okay, so obviously you didn't just sit there and watch it.
Nope.
What did you
So
do?
I hauled butt across the road there, and coming into the parking lot, they actually saw me, so they started running. The three guys started running away. One of the gentlemen was a hefty guy, running a little bit slower than the other two, so I'm like, we got this guy. So I jump up, get out of the truck. I'm giving K-9 announcements for him to stop, or I'm going to send the dog, and nobody stopped. So I open the door. Justice jumps out and runs right by the first guy. So
Okay.
I was kind of surprised by that, but he went after the other two. So I started addressing the first guy, telling him to get on the ground or whatever, trying to get control of him. He wasn't complying. So I look over and I see Justice go around behind a building where I could no longer see him.
That was probably like the public shopping center?
Yeah, there was a little strip.
Somewhere near
Yeah,
a
it was
strip center?
It was on
Okay.
the other side of the Publix. We had a little strip center.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So I have to take my attention off of this bad guy now and try and get my dog back because I can't see him anymore.
Right.
So I started yelling back, calling my dog back, come back, and he's not coming back. So I started going that way, and then he comes around the building.
What happened to the bad guy you had there?
That one, he took off. Yeah.
Okay.
Not very fast. Like I said, he was a hefty guy, so he
Okay.
wasn't. I'm like, we're going to get this guy eventually. So
Okay.
my main concern at that point, obviously, is getting my dog back
Justice,
to me.
right.
Yes. So he does come back around the building, running up to me. I'm like, oh, thank goodness. But when he gets to me, he's got a shoe in his mouth. So I was pretty upset with him. My first thought is bad guys always run out of their shoes. So I figured the bad guy ran out of his shoe, and the dog picked it up and came back to me.
Okay.
So I get the shoe from him. We get in the truck. So I go back. That bad guy did run behind Publix parking lot, plaza there. So we jump in the truck and we go around the corner, and I see him. He turns back around, looks and sees me. He starts running again. So again, I jump out, give another announcement. Dog's coming if you don't stop. He didn't stop. So we get that guy in custody. Justice grabs him, and
So you got a bite out of that one,
so
right?
he did bite
Okay.
that guy. That guy
Right.
didn't want to give up. So we did bite him, got him into custody, handled the scene, forensics, everybody came. So I went home.
So you're thinking, okay,
One
you
out
got
of three
one,
is not bad.
right?
Yeah.
You got one bad guy. Okay, so at least the detectives have something to
Something-
work with,
exactly,
right?
yep.
Right.
So I go home, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, I get off, and about 8:30 the next morning, I get a phone call from the sheriff's office saying, hey, can you come in reference to the case last night? So I'm like, oh, okay, see what's going on. So I go in and I find out that Justice did find the other two guys. There was a getaway car behind that plaza with a female in it waiting on them to come back. So he chased them around. Those two jumped through the window to get away. Justice jumps in the window after them and then bites both of them before hearing me, I guess, to come back.
But he brought a souvenir.
He brought a souvenir back to
Right.
me. So
In his mind, he's like, Dad,
Yeah,
see what I
that's
got.
his toy, so he got a reward.
And, and I can just imagine, unfortunately, there were no surveillance cameras back there or anything, but I could imagine what was going on inside that car
Yes.
with a getaway driver, two bad guys, and a dog that was
not happy.
not happy. So I guess we finally ended up, and the reason we found out is because the guy we did catch gave up the other two, and they were able to track them down and interview them and find out that they both got bit in the process as
yes,
well.
they did.
So Justice definitely did a really good job on that. He was able to get all of them. That's the type of thing that people just love, because those dogs are amazing at what they can do, not just bite work, but obviously, and I were talking earlier about, their ability to find drugs and find missing people, and not just bad guys, but children and Alzheimer's patients and people that are threatening to harm themselves. And what percentage, maybe I think our listeners would appreciate, what percentage of calls do you think are chasing people that have deliberately committed a crime, as opposed to those that are lost, like children, or people that are having mental health issues like Alzheimer's, or wanting to harm themselves?
We're seeing lately more and more of the latter, of the people that are wanting to harm themselves, or lost people or something like that. It's happening a lot more now than it used to.
Well,
Sure.
and that kind of takes us into the next question. You and I talked about a lot, and I know this from my experience in law enforcement. I think a lot of people have the misconception that when we look for a dog, we want what do you think the citizens, when you talk to them, what do you think their perception is of what we want in a dog, and then what we actually want in a dog?
I get multiple calls monthly, I would say, about people wanting to donate dogs. Hey, we've got this big, bad, huge, mean dog. He'd be perfect for law enforcement. We want to donate him for the sheriff's office. And it's the exact opposite of what we look for in a dog.
Right.
Back before I was even in K-9, that's kind of what the normal was. They wanted a mean dog to go out and take care of these bad guys. But we want a nice, calm, social dog that will do what we tell them to, and is not a liability for the sheriff's office. Big dogs have issues with their hips. They in this heat and jumping fences and the things that we do, they just don't last as long.
Right.
So we want a smaller frame dog, and we want a nice, calm, confident dog that's going to do what he's supposed to do.
Yeah. So when a dog is actually biting somebody, are they mad at that person?
Absolutely not.
No,
It's a big game. It's a toy.
It's a game to them,
Yes.
right? And that's why in most cases they're able, like in the case you were talking about in the car, that dog actually came back, which is really a testament to that dog, because I would think most dogs that are not good canine patrol dogs would not be leaving that car until you
Yes.
came and yanked them out. And in fact, Justice was able to come out and listen to those commands, shows how disciplined those dogs are, and how much work goes into training them, which obviously there's a tremendous. I know what's the status of our unit now? How many people do we have in the unit, and what are the kind of the status of each dog? I know you and I were talking. We just had a couple today get state certified, right?
Yes. We have a total of 7 patrol dogs right now. We have mine. We have Deputy Locke with his new dog. He just certified today. We have Deputy Derryberry has a dog that certified not too long ago, within the last year or so. We have Deputy Allion, Deputy Arnold, and then we have Deputy Weaver that's in training with a new dog, and Deputy Barlow as well, who just certified as well with the patrol.
Another reason we get specialized dogs is because I know that they are specifically bred for that type of work, and I think most of us know our dogs at home. even our more rambunctious dogs still spend a lot of time sleeping, and they're not really made for the rigors of patrol work, the hours and the tracking and so forth. But I think even more importantly than that, even though it's fairly expensive to buy a dedicated patrol dog from a known breeder that oftentimes brings them from overseas. We have the ability, if the dog doesn't work out, what happens? And I think we just dealt with that just recently.
Yes, we did have a dog that's a little bit too much, a little too aggressive, and we don't want that to turn into a liability for the sheriff's office. So the breeder that we use, we called him up and said, hey, this dog's just not really working out for what we need it to. And so we just take it back and we choose another one. It's got a really good return policy, and we choose a dog that we think is going to work out.
Yeah. And you were talking about several of those that were recently certified. Several of our individuals are on their second dog. We're getting some, am I not correct? Deputy
Yes.
Locke, this is his second dog,
Yes.
and I think Derryberry, it's his
Yes.
second dog, and so their dog's retired. What happens to retired canines? I think most people know that, but maybe some don't.
Yes.
When a canine retires, what happens to it?
The handler gets to keep them.
Yeah.
Obviously, discretion of the sheriff, but
Right.
you do a great job and let us keep the dogs. We have a bond with them.
Right.
We're working 8 or 9 years with these dogs, so they come home with us and they become our security at home. So
Yeah.
it works out for us.
Yeah. I think what a lot of people don't think of, and I know I've talked to a lot of canine handlers. I had a good friend of mine who was a canine handler in Pinellas County, and how do those dogs react when the handler goes to work the first day they're retired?
First day, mine's been retired for 1.5 years and he still hates it.
Yeah.
I let him out in the yard to run around. The first thing he does and goes and sits by my truck, waiting for me to open the door to go to work with me.
He wants to go to work.
it's
So,
crazy.
so it is certainly not abuse by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
That these dogs, they love
Yes.
what they do. They love it,
Yes.
and they love being with their handlers. But on the other hand, we also talked about this. It's something I know you, being in charge of the K-9 unit, you instill in the deputies every day that those dogs are not pets.
No, they're not. They're a tool. I mean, it's hard. It's very hard to call them a tool, but that's what they are. And if it comes down to a human, the deputy, or the dog, it's unfortunately going to be the dog. So.
Yeah, and you and I talked about this, and about the time I became sheriff, I came in, and I know we were given an award. I think it was an award to your dog, because that's why he was there, and we're doing pictures, and he's sitting next to me. And of course, I know that most, the K-9s now are all purchased and trained to be friendly when they're not chasing somebody. And so, I was petting him a little bit, and he was fine. But I heard later you were a little nervous, and why was that?
I was. He was recovering from several gunshot wounds where he got shot on duty as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was a little grumpy after that. He was grumpy before that, but he was grumpy after that for sure. But yeah,
Yeah.
he did a good job, and
Still-
had a bulletproof vest on that we all have, so it saved his life.
Yeah, but that goes back to them being a tool, and that's a hard thing to deal with. But it's it's the way that's the only way you can effectively use them, is
Absolutely.
remember that they're just like deputies sometimes have to go into situations that none of us want to send a fellow deputy into. But I think that we have a excellent unit. How long is let's say we do get a dog from a breeder, and we have a brand new handler. They just even before that, how do we normally choose the handlers? Because I think some agencies do it a little bit differently than us, and maybe it doesn't always work out as well. But in our organization, who usually has the most say in picking the person that goes into the unit?
It's going to be, ever since I've been in charge, it's the entire unit.
Right.
We're a close, tight-knit unit, and you have to work with everybody in the unit because we all work really close together. So you have to get along with everybody else in the unit. So we have people that are interested. I tell them, hey, if you're interested, come out to training, see what it's about. It's not what most people think it's about. Most people think, oh, you just drive around with a dog in your truck all night long.
Right.
Well, some nights, yeah, but every single night we train with that dog. We're doing something with that dog, whether it's running through a swamp, chasing a bad guy or looking for a child that's missing, doing drug work. But we have to keep up with our training with the dogs as well. Every single night we have to do something with the dog. So there's a lot more into it than most people think.
So if you don't like snakes or spiders, you're probably not going to do well as a canine
That is
handler.
right.
Because wherever the bad guy goes, and those bad guys, they don't want to go back to prison.
No.
And so they're going to do anything they possibly can to get away, including and oftentimes going into an area that most people would be scared to death to go into. And I think that's a testament to why our unit runs so well, because I know most people who are interested in being handlers spend a lot of time volunteering with the unit and taking bites and showing that they're really committed. Because, I speak to every brand new employee, and I always ask them during that initial interview, where do you see yourself going forward in a few years? Is it supervision or is it specialization? And of course, a lot of them say K-9 unit. But I know some organizations, and we've heard of organizations wanting to give away good dogs because the canine handler didn't work out. And it's probably because they maybe didn't vet that person as well as they should have and just assigned whoever applied to be a canine. So I think that's why we're so successful. And it's a credit to you and obviously the other members of the unit when we have a vacancy and why we do so well. And I think any of our Facebook friends that look at our Facebook, it seems like at least a couple of times a week, if not more, we're getting drugs off the street, and it's 100% due to the dogs and their ability to sniff out that methamphetamine or that cocaine or that fentanyl or whatever and get those super dangerous drugs off the street. And I know you can always tell when a unit is important to the patrol deputies because they call it a lot. And
all night long.
Is the K-9 available,
Put
right?
a lot of miles on my truck every night, that's for sure.
Well, we certainly appreciate it. Anything else you think that people maybe have a misconception that you think needs to be corrected? Or
A lot of people think that the dogs are mean, like we mentioned earlier. They're not mean. These dogs are social. You can let them out. We have a no pet policy here at the sheriff's office, but because they're animals and accidents happen, if you happen to step on their paw or maybe accidentally poke them in the eye or something, you're probably going to get bit. But it's an animal, so that's the only reason. But we do demos all the time, and I tell people, just don't get close because we're doing bite work and stuff. But I could turn my dog loose in the crowd, and he's not going to just go bite somebody for nothing.
Right.
These dogs aren't vicious like that. They're trained to bite for a certain reason, and then they're trained to let go when we tell them to. So they're just a tool to stop a bad guy and let us get him under control. And they're not doing it to be mean.
Right. And I think one of the biggest markers that we use to separate a good potential patrol dog from one maybe that's not so good is what they call prey drive, right? They love that toy or that ball, and that's how we were talking earlier. That's how we train them is when they do a bite, they're doing it for the reward.
For the reward.
Right. They think it's a game. So I think, there is a lot of misconception out there. And I think it has definitely, as you said, the profession, especially when it comes to canines, has definitely changed from that old day of just mean dogs. Yeah. And I think they've definitely morphed into something that is a indispensable tool in the sheriff's office. And we certainly appreciate you and the other canine handlers and what you do every day, because I know you all are dedicated. We obviously interact a lot at events and so forth, and I know I see a lot of your guys and gals in morning briefing that have been the result of a bad guy or finding somebody that was really in crisis and somebody who really wanted to hurt themselves, and we're able to get them the help they need because of that unit. So we certainly appreciate that. With that being said, I'm Hernando County Sheriff Al Nienhuis. We certainly appreciate you tuning in to our second episode of Just the Facts. We would ask you to do us a favor. If you're watching on Facebook, go ahead and make sure that you like this video and follow our Facebook page. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please like the YouTube and hit that little subscribe button, because that way you'll get notified of future videos. We're going to probably use the YouTube platform for these videos. So if you want to be hearing just about the videos, YouTube might be the best place to look, but of course, our Facebook followers are going to get the same video. And as always, we certainly appreciate your support of law enforcement. We never take it for granted.